Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American supernatural slasher film from 2024, titled Terrifier 3. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The movie begins during the Christmas season, introducing a young girl named Julian, who goes to her parents' room to inform her mom, Jen, that she hears footsteps on the roof. However, Jen reassures her that she can't hear anything, and Julian's father, Burke, also dismiss her concerns. To calm Julian, Jen puts her back to bed and suggests that the noise might have been caused by an animal. On her way back to her room, Jen notices the front door is open, which she assumed Burke forgot to lock it. Later that night, Julian wakes up again to the sound of footsteps. She goes downstairs and sees someone moving in the living room, which she believes it's Santa Claus. Excited, she rushed to her brother's room, Timmy, to inform him that Santa is inside their house and is putting presents under the tree. However, Timmy, who is still half asleep, tells her to leave. Julian returns downstairs but is horrified to discover that the figure isn't Santa Claus, it is the terrifying Art the Clown, who pulls an axe from his bag. Julian quickly hides and watches in fear as Art heads to Timmy's room and brutally kills him with the axe. Art then moves to the parents' room, where he attacks Burke in his sleep. Jen wakes up to the horrifying sight of blood on her arms and sees Art still attacking her husband. Panicking, Jen tries to find Julian but realizes she is not in her room. She rushed to Timmy's room, only to find her son's decapitated body. Desperate to escape, Jen runs downstairs, but the locked front doors slow her down, making Art catch up to her and kills her as well. Afterward, Art sits down and eats the cookies Julian left out for Santa Claus, and just as he is about to leave, he hears faint noises coming from a kitchen cabinet. When he opens it, he finds the terrified Julian hiding inside, and what happens to her after that remains unknown. 5 years ago, Officer Evans was assigned to investigate the aftermath of a brutal incident at the Terrifier haunted attraction, where Art the Clown had been decapitated by Sienna Shaw in the previous movie. While investigating, Officer Evans is suddenly attacked by Art's headless body, which kills him and then boards a train, carrying the officer's head as Art tries to reattach it to his body. The scene shifts to an asylum where Victoria Hayes, a survivor from the first movie, who is now possessed by the little pale girl, gives birth to Art's head. A security guard on duty watches in horror as both Victoria and Art's head devour a nurse. Amid the chaos, he also catches sight of Art's headless body waving at him, and just then, Victoria attacks the guard and Art's body joins her. Together, they brutally kill him and Art successfully reattach his head to his body, and the duo leave the asylum. On their way to an abandoned house, they encounter a man dressed as Art the Clown, who become amused when he saw Art and Victoria, believing they are also wearing costume. When Art and Victoria arrive at the abandoned house, Art is now dressed in clean clothes, indicating they killed the fan who dressed up as him. Inside the house, Victoria smashes her face into a bathroom mirror and uses a shard of glass to slash her wrist in a bathtub, while Art sits in a rocking chair in the attic, and the two become dormant. In the present, Sienna is released from a mental health center to stay with her Aunt Jess, who lives with her husband Greg, and their daughter Gabby, who idolizes Sienna but had no knowledge of the traumatic events she endured. Struggling with survivor guilt, Sienna frequently experiences hallucinations of her deceased best friend, Brooke, whose death she feels responsible for. To cope with the trauma, she relies on medication. She also faces difficulties reconnecting with her younger brother, Jonathan, who is now in college and is trying to move on with his life. Just like Sienna, Jonathan is also on medication to manage his own trauma from the past. Meanwhile, in an abandoned house, two demolition workers, Dennis and Jackson, arrive to inspect the property before it's demolished. Jackson heads to the basement to assess it, while Dennis goes upstairs. In the basement, Jackson notices a flickering light in the bathroom and is horrified to find Victoria, still dormant in the bathtub. Upstairs, Dennis finds Art sitting motionless in a rocking chair in the attic, and curious, both workers approach the eerie figures. Suddenly, Art and Victoria awake from their slumber and brutally kill the two men. Following this, Victoria begins working on a new costume, while Art prepares a new weapon for his next killing spree. This time, he creates a liquid nitrogen device that freezes anything it touches. Eager to begin his spree, Art ventures into town where he becomes captivated by a Santa Claus impersonator he spots at a bar. Art is thrilled to see the Santa Claus, acting as though he is a fan, and along with the Santa, is another patron and the bartender. The Santa impersonator invites Art over for a drink, and even lets him wear the Santa hat, though the bartender finds Art unsettling. As they are celebrating, Art takes a drink but spits it out onto Santa's face, and to make matters worse, he urinates on Santa, which anger him. Furious, Santa tries to fight back, but the bartender intervenes, throwing Art out along with his black bag. In the commotion, Art pulls a gun from his bag and shoots both the bartender and the patron, but spare the Santa impersonator for the moment. Art ties Santa to a chair, put on his costume, and despite his plea to be let go, Art kills the man using his liquid nitrogen device and a hammer. Meanwhile, Sienna and Gabby head to a local mall to pick up items for Christmas, and while shopping, Sienna becomes frightened when she spots Art in the Santa costume. Elsewhere in the mall, another Santa is taking photos with children but steps away for a break. Seizing the opportunity, Art impersonates himself as the Santa and begins to hand out gifts to the children. However, the parents become disturbed by Art's frightening appearance, and the guards throw him out of the mall. Just as he is escorted away, the children start opening their gifts, and one boy opens an explosive disguised as a present, leading to a horrific explosion that kills and injures several shoppers, sending the mall into chaos. Meanwhile, Sienna visits Jonathan at the university, where she meets his roommate, Cole, and his girlfriend Mia, who runs a true crime podcast. Mia pressures Sienna and Jonathan to do an interview about the Miles County massacre, which upsets Sienna and she lashes out at Mia. In private, Sienna tells Jonathan that she believes Art is still alive, but Jonathan finds it hard to believe, given that Sienna killed the clown in their last encounter. She shows him letters she received while in the psychiatric hospital, detailing that demons can be reborn through recently deceased evil people, like Art after his death, and possess those with broken spirits, like Victoria. Sienna also reveals her plan to retrieve their father's sword from the Terrifier haunted attraction. Later, Sienna returns with a wrapped gift, confirming she has retrieved the sword, and place it beside the Christmas tree. That night, Art arrives at the university and overhears Mia pressuring Cole to convince Jonathan to agree to the interview. Mia even seduces Cole to persuade him to talk to Jonathan, and later, while the lovers are making out in the shower, they remain unaware of Art's presence. Art retrieves a chainsaw from his bag and brutally attacks them, showing no mercy and killing both in a gruesome manner, fulfilling Mia's curiosity about the terror Jonathan and Sienna experienced. Back at home, Sienna learns of the mall killings on the news, and in panic, she demands that Jonathan should return home and warn the family they aren't safe. Greg goes to pick up Jonathan from college while Aunt Jess gives Sienna medication to help her sleep, and Gabby grows concerned for Sienna. At the university, Greg calls Jonathan on the phone to let him know he has arrived, but Jonathan's voice sounds strangely. Meanwhile, Sienna has a vivid dream where she sees herself as a child, and her father is giving her a drawing of a warrior. Suddenly, something bizarre begins to happen and Sienna sees a strange creature crafting armor based on the warrior costume her father designed for her. Sienna wakes up and heads downstairs, where she finds Art and Victoria, now dressed as a clown, in the house, with Victoria laughing like a maniac. Sienna tries to escape but Art catches up to her, tossing her around the room before knocking her out with a mallet. When Sienna regains consciousness, she is horrified to see Greg's decapitated, his eviscerated body pinned to the wall, and his head is placed as the star on their Christmas tree. She also finds Aunt Jess bound and tied up across from her, helpless and terrified. Victoria shows them a skinless head which is being consumed by rats, telling Sienna and Jess it is Gabby's head, but Jess refused to believe, insisting that is not her daughter. Art and Victoria proceed to torture Jess, hammering a tube into her mouth, forcing rats through a blowtorch and finally ending her life. Then, Art drags in a terrified Gabby as a hostage, and Victoria discloses that the head actually belongs to Jonathan, causing Sienna to break down in tears. Victoria places a crown of thorns on Sienna's head, and tries to possess her, but she resists because her will is not yet broken. Meanwhile, Gabby cleverly outsmarts Art and Victoria into allowing Sienna to open the Christmas present she brought home earlier. Before Sienna got untied, Art mercilessly breaks her hands and in pain, she picks up the Christmas present. When she opens it, Sienna tells Gabby it's the best gift ever and brought out her father's sword and slit Art's throat. She then proceeds to stab Victoria with the sword, before beheading her, whose body disintegrates. Thinking it is all over, Art suddenly attacks them with his chainsaw, leading to a furious battle between Sienna and the clown. After a brief struggle and Art almost killing Sienna, the lady gains the upper hand and pins Art with the sword to the wall. While Gabby is grieving over her mom's corpse, Victoria's blood begins to burn through the floor and creates a portal to hell, causing Gabby to fall in and holds on to the edge. Sienna leaves Art behind to save her, but Gabby falls into the abyss with the sword, and the portal to hell closes. The grieving Sienna soon discovered Art has escaped through a window, and while the wounds caused by her sword supernaturally heal, Sienna vows to find and rescue Gabby. The movie concludes as the injured Art walks into a bus, and smile creepily at a passenger while blowing a horn. Okay guys, that's all the recap about Terrifier 3 from 2024. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.